Big Poppy's in the house. Okay, this is our last video for the completion of all the steps it takes to reload a 5.7 by 28 millimeter round. This video is for the quality checks and the things that you should have been checking from the very beginning to the finish. So let's start out by, the obvious, the first thing is on the case. You want to make sure that there's no dents, deep scratches, or anything that will allow this case to cause damage to you or your gun. You want to make sure, again, there's a term called in the Glock industry for reloading for that particular gun. It's called a smiley face. You want to make sure the back of your brass is not split or broken off or bent. You want to make sure when you start to seat your bullets and everything, you want to make sure that you don't have any burrs or splits, cracks, or major dents around the bullet. Okay. And the next thing you want to do is when you're seating the bullets, is you're going to want to use a caliper. And in this particular round, the COL is 1.58. You also want to make sure that your primer's seated in there correctly and it's nice and flush. And then when you're going through and you're putting your powder in, which I used 5 grains of True Blue, I usually go through and fill up all my brass with the powder. And you've seen me in the videos with this. It's just to fill up this tray here. And what I do is, right before I start seating, is I take a light, and you guys, this is well known as a bore light, but take this light and shine it down into the case and make sure every round has powder in it. Alright, now, on this last step, also I've talked about out there in the industry, if you go on YouTube and all the different sites, there's really not a head gauge that's out there for this particular round. There is a company that makes these, and the company is called Elite Ammunition, and it's spelled E-L-I-T-E Ammunition. Their phone number is 815-814-0847. They also have a customer service line, and the address is customer service at eliteammunition.com. They are located in Harvard, Illinois. So I'm going to show you this gauge. Now typically, and the price on this, shipping and everything, was $58.24. Typically, you should be able to take a round, and this is a Botten round that I haven't reloaded, for an example here. You should be able to take that round and put it in this gauge, just like that, flush at the back, not exceeding out of the rear of the gauge, should be flush. And you should be able to take that round and take it and turn it upside down, and that should fall off in your hand. So let's illustrate that again. And it's a little, well, hold on a minute. There it goes. But anyway, it does work for a brand new round. No arguments, no issues. Does real well. But the whole purpose of having this gauge is when you're reloading and you want to check your rounds. And what I have found out is, I don't know if I need to buff the inside of that out just a little bit, but when I take my reload rounds and I push them in, I have to actually force it to go in just a little bit. Now, it's flush. The gauge does work. It is flush on the back side of the gauge. The only thing is, when I go like this, and it should be falling off my hand, and it's not, I have to take this little, well, it's a broken primer or decapping pin, and I just push it a little bit, and it will come out. Now, that does bother me, but I don't know if it's just a matter of that I've got an email out to the vendor to see if this has actually been milled correctly on the inside, and if it's not, I'll send it back in and get another one. But you can use this for a gauge, and it will go in, and you can monitor that, but you shouldn't have to take and push this in and force it out. It should fall off in your hand. So by me doing this is a gauge that tells me if it's good or bad. Now, since it won't fall out in my hand and that, I still have some reservations about it and still a little concerned. So take your barrel on this particular round. Here's my barrel here, and that's on my pistol. Take those rounds and drop it into your barrel, and you'll notice, if you can see it, if I'm doing it right here, that it fits in there with no problem. And the other thing I'm going to show you is, when I turn it upside down, that round falls right out of that barrel. That's what should happen. Okay? Now, so what I'm going to take a look at is wait to hear back from them on the gauge, and if I got to go in there and buff it out a little bit, so be it. If I need to just take a few rounds and go through there and see if it loosens up, like if there's a coating or something in there, because these rounds do have a coating on them, and you also, when you're reloading them, you're having to put a lot of lube on them so they don't get caught up in your dye, because it takes a long time to try to get that out. And if it still doesn't work, I'll take this to work, and I'll have a CNC machine, and we'll actually bore just probably about a thousandth or less out of that inside of this radius of the center part of it. But it's a good tool in that. It's just not where it needs to be for me to feel comfortable, because I should not have to take and push that in and have to take a rod and push it out on the other side. So that's all I can say about that. And if you go to their website and you type in 5.7 by 28, you'll find this as well. A little pricey, but we'll see if we can get this fixed. If you have any questions, let me know. You've seen I think it took us 5 videos start to finish. Long as you are paying attention, this is a delicate round you got to be very careful with. The starting powder range is at 5.0 grains. The max on it is 5.4. I recommend that you start with the 5.0 first. The other things too is make sure you use plenty of lube on it when you're actually trying to decap the primers out of them. Remember, these rounds from the manufacturer actually have a glue. It's around the bullet that seats down into the case. I will also tell you that there is a way that you can go and set your dies up to try to crimp this round here. I never had no luck with it, so I do not crimp. When I crimp it, it actually expands the case down, like it's pushing it down this way on top to bottom on the height of it, and then I can't get it to cycle through my barrel. So again, I'm not crimping this particular round. And let's see, just so you guys know, I used Ram Shot True Blue. The bullets I used was 40 grain bullets, Hornady VMAX. The load was 5.0. The FPS is 1660. The overall length, COL, was 1.58. The trim of the case was 1.130. I'm using a small rifle primer, CCI. And I think that pretty well wraps it up. If you have any questions with this, please leave a message at the bottom. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Again, I'm not responsible for if you would make any mistakes on your loading on your powder or anything to do with reloading. These videos that I've just produced shows you how I reload them start to finish. It works for me. It shoots out of my guns. I don't have no issues. But main thing I can caution is with this particular round is be very careful and make sure that you're following all the steps from start to finish. And other than that, have a great day. Thank you and good shooting.